Hi, this is Leah Reynolds from Horse Mountain Alpacas, and today I'm going to show you how to felt your favorite soap. Here's some supplies that you'll need to make your felted soap. First, you'll want to get a large towel. You'll need to get some kind of tub. A dish-sized tub works really well. You will want to get some your favorite soap. I like to buy locally made soap. Next, you'll need to get some roving or some bat. This bat is grown by my alpacas at Horse Mountain Alpacas. You can purchase it online at www.horsemountainalpacas.com, or you can go down to Shabby Chic Boutique, and it's also available for sale there. Besides alpaca, if you don't have a local alpaca farmer near you where you can purchase this, you can also use wool. The next thing you'll need is a contrasting color. So I decided to pull in a blue for my soap today. This is also alpaca. This is a little merino wool that I picked up somewhere. You can use either of those type of things to be your contrasting color to make your design on your soap. So today I'm going to go ahead and use the roving instead of the bat, and what you're going to do is you need to tear the roving off into some strips. So I'm going to, and when you pull roving, you just do it really gently to pull it apart. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to do that. Then I'm going to pull 3 this direction, and then what I'll do is I lay them out, just overlapping them just a tiny little bit, so that when I put my hand down on it, it kind of feels like it's the same thickness across. Then next you'll want to take your soap and we will wrap it the first direction. So I kind of push it in a little bit and wrap the edge of my roving around the top, kind of tuck it under, pull it a little tight, wrap it around again, and continue wrapping it until it's gone around in one direction. And then I set that aside a little bit. Then I'm going to pull out, another couple strips, and I'm going to wrap this around the opposite direction. So then I'll lay my soap on it that direction, cover the ends, I kind of pull it snug and wrap the roving around in that direction. And then I kind of have a little case around my soap. And then I'll take my contrasting color. I think I'll use this today. I like all the different colors in this. And you don't need very much of this for your contrasting color. So I'm just going to pull apart just a little bit. And what I try to do is make this look like a web, like a spider web. And I just spread it out as much as I can, and then I just lay it over the top of the soap, and then I turn it over and kind of wrap it across the back a little bit. And where I lay this, it may not end up being in the spot that I put it, because the felting process will move it around. But I just try to kind of wrap it around it just to get a general idea of what it might look like. And so I've got my contrasting color. You can see kind of around the ends and on the front, and then again on the back. So I've got this little case right here, and now it's ready to be felted. So I'm going to pull over my towel. I've laid out so I protect my table. And I have my dish tub, and I have filled it up with water as warm as I could stand for my hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this soap in my hand, and I'm just going to dip it into the water and just kind of hold it there until I feel that the water is saturating the fibers of the soap. And I don't really let the soap go because I want to hold the wool in place at this point because it's just pretty loosely wrapped around the soap. So right now I'm just getting the fibers saturated. Once I can kind of feel that they're saturated, I'll pull it out and I'll stick my other hand underneath the bottom. And you can see right now that there's still some areas up there where they're not quite saturated, so I'm just going to go ahead and get them wet. I'm going to keep my hand still wrapped around the bar at this point, and I'm just going to kind of squeeze, because what I'm wanting to do is begin the felting process. And felting happens when the warm water is agitated along with the soap of the bar of soap, and then the fibers start to shrink and kind of felt in on with each other. And so really gently I'm just kind of squeezing this to try and get it in started in place. And I'll do that for a little bit. It's not going to be tight on the soap, and you can kind of see now where those different fibers, and they're still loose. I mean, I can still move those with my fingers, and at this point that's okay. And I'm also wanting to make sure that I have fibers covering all the edges of my soap. So if you have like a bare spot on one of the corners, just push with your thumb, push some fibers down to the corners so that those will be covered and you won't have, you know, a corner that does not have fiber on it. Once you've kind of got it saturated and in place there, then you can start being a little rougher with it. And I'll start taking my hands and I'll start running it across the top of the soap. And this is where some of the contrasting colors will kind of move a little bit, and that's okay. And so you can see I'm able to get a little bit rougher now with the soap. I'm going to dip it in again just to get it a little wetter, and then sometimes when you re-dip it back into the water, it causes the fibers to shrink up a little bit. So this is the agitation that's causing this to felt. And I'm just turning it around. I'm going to dip it again. And then once you feel like it's pretty secure on there, then I just start rolling it in my hands. And you can see it's beginning to get tighter around the bar of soap. And those have actually, they're not moving anymore. Those have stuck onto there now. And then you just continue with this process. Now I feel like I can start rubbing a little harder. And when you do this, it also pushes the fibers down to those corners that you want to make sure that you get felted. That's what happens most often when you first start, is you don't get enough fiber around those corners. So I'm just kind of doing it all different directions. Just to get back in the water a little bit. And you can see as we're going that it's getting felted around the soap. And I'm just going to keep going until I feel like it is as tight around the soap as I want it. We're almost there. And it's, you know, we've been going maybe 3-4 minutes. So it really doesn't take that long to do it. Just about done. Rinse it off there so we can see what it looks like. I take my thumb and kind of push the excess water out of it. And there's our felted soap. Okay, so now we've taken the soap out of the water, and with my fingers I've kind of pushed, you know, some of the wetness out of there, and what's left now is for you to dry it. And what I do is I take the towel and I kind of just wrap it around the soap and just kind of try and sop up some of that extra moisture that's in there. And then I'll just lay the soap out on the counter, or in the sun, or outside on your picnic table, or wherever you want to just kind of let the fiber dry. It really doesn't take too terribly long. And what you have now is this felted soap that the fibers around the soap cause, and you saw how much it sudsed when I was felting it. It really brings the suds out of the soap, and it's like a washcloth wrapped around your soap. So you just use it that way in the bathroom. And when you're not using it, it's best if you put it into some kind of soap dish that has a drain where the moisture can drain out of it, so that it's not sitting, you know, in a puddle, because then in between uses the soap will not dry out completely. It'll make your soap inside of it kind of soft, and so you don't really want that to happen too much. But one of the great things about these soaps is that it does really help your soap last longer, because a lot of the soap is trapped inside of the fiber and it doesn't wash away down the drain when you use it. And it's really soft on your skin, and it also kind of exfoliates a little bit as you're using it as well. Something fun that you can do with these, if you just want kind of fancy, is after I have felted it to look like this, and maybe I just had a plain color fiber, this is just a natural brown color from one of my alpacas, I took a little bit of yarn and I needle felted it into a design on the front of the soap. So that would look kind of pretty in a guest room. Thanks for stopping by Horse Mountain Alpacas today for our felted soap tutorial. If you are interested in making felted soap yourself, you can find kits and other felting supplies at www.horsemountainalpacas.com, on my Horse Mountain Alpaca Etsy site, or down at the Shabby Chic Boutique. Thank you.